Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. My name is Sam, and this is the first episode of my vlog. You might have watched the intro video, but I just want to start and just gonna go over what the vlog's all about, do a little introduction, the goals of the vlog, and my bio, and then just some other notes about the channel and things like that. So I'm a freelance broadcast technician. I work in production, audio, video, and I'm also a YouTuber, obviously. I do a little DJing and music production, more as a hobby, but I used to do that a little more professionally until I got more opportunities in the broadcasting space, doing audio production, audio technician, mixing, with a little camera operation, and some camera shading, video engineering. But this channel is all about the creative side of my company, Viral Media Network, which I started with my partner back about 15 years ago. And he went on to bigger and brighter things, and I kept the company around. And we still do productions time to time for clients, live streaming, produce their videos, some social media management, but mainly live events, live streaming, multi-camera stuff. But my goal in this channel is to grow the channel and to become monetized. So very close to getting 1,000 subscribers, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Put a comment below. Hey, put a thumbs down if you really don't like the video, and tell me why you don't like it. I'm open to discourse and constructive criticism. Just keep it nice. And I do have notes, so that's why I'm looking down. I guess I could put it here and kind of, I don't have a teleprompter yet. But anyways, so part of the goals of this vlog is to be consistent with my content, but also in general in life. Being a freelancer and working for myself, I've kind of been all over the map and working and not having a consistent job, just trying to get jobs here and there and whatnot. So this is putting my foot forward and trying to be more consistent with my content and just daily habits and things like that. And also just to share my story, share my experiences, both in my professional life, personal life, and my personal growth, and to document the journey, not only of the growth of this channel, but my personal growth and growth of the family, and to be a better husband and dad, father, and just member of the household, and things like that. And also, share hopefully success and improvement in my life, right? Personal growth, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, these are stories of my personal and professional experiences, and also maybe a little bit of health goals and health progress as well. I go in and out of exercising and staying. Again, that comes back to my not being very disciplined and being consistent with things, but going in and out of health kicks or exercising a bunch for a couple weeks and then getting off it. And whatnot, but I love to play basketball. I love to go to the gym. Not so much lift weights, so much a little bit of that, but also just kind of like, I don't know, they're just sort of like body exercises, a lot of like sit-up routine and kind of calisthenic kind of stuff like that. But I will lift weights from here to there. And we'll have updates on the blog episode about the channel growth and other content that we're working on. Now, one of the big sticking points for me in this whole YouTube space, creator content, is the niche market, and you got to niche down. And while I agree with that a lot of ways, and I need to learn to get better in that, I'm also a kind of guy, and comment below if you're like this, or you're better at disciplining and having niche hobbies and interests. But I've always had a lot of interests, and I know some of you out there are like that too. Like, for instance, in high school, I was on the football team and was in band and was exploring art and video and all this stuff. So, I DJ, I make a little music here and there. I'm in video production. I like to create videos. I like to be creative. I like to paint. I like photography. So I want to share with you on this channel all of that, all of the passion that I have in those things. The Thrift Store Finds Vinyl Digs is a great way for me to explore my musical journey, and also share with you how I go about listening to music, not only as a fan, but also like, hey, like I could like find something in there to make music out of. So that's kind of the point of that show. I have a hiking show that I do. I haven't done it in a while. That's another consistency issue I have. But I will be probably migrating that to a separate channel, because that is a very niche thing. But this channel is basically going to focus on music and movie reviews, some video game stuff. I have a podcast that I do where I interview people, and that's another thing I need to stay consistent with. So the vlog is just an attempt for me to just, no frills, maybe, a little camera light here, a little web camera, nothing fancy, and just kind of talk about my thoughts and feelings and, share my personal growth. So here I am. This is just the first episode. But to give you a little bio of me, I grew up in the Bay Area, Palo Alto to be specific, in the shadows of Stanford University. And that kind of shaped who I am today as an adult. I'm 47 going on 48. By the time you watch this, I'll probably be 48. But I always kind of had an issue with wealth and kind of the eliteness that was in Palo Alto and the tech space. And I got into video and music production to be creative and kind of, shy away from the computer stuff. But lo and behold, of course, everything's going towards computers, and, we've been in the video and audio production space with computers for the past 10, 15, almost 20 years, right? 30 years even, some of the earlier stuff. So anyways, I'm kind of grappling with that and just sort of, what it means for me to be successful and not necessarily be in the kind of elite sort of snobbery kind of that's associated with the tech culture and the tech bros and all that kind of stuff. But also, like I said before, my personal growth in trying to be consistent, be a better father and husband, and, just as we all should be, constantly working on our personal growth. But also, a lot of the stuff that I do on the channel, you can kind of see my personality, but I haven't opened up as much. And again, I'd like to share some of my personal stories with you. So kind of getting on a tangent, but getting back to my bio. So I grew up in the Bay Area, went out east to college at Ithaca, New York. Both my parents have East Coast roots. And neither of them are from or lived too much in New York. Ithaca College had a really good broadcasting education that I took advantage of, and it kind of launched me into the field that I'm in today. Mainly I do live sports broadcasting, but like I said, I also do some creative projects. I've done a bunch of 48-hour film festivals, which is where you have to write, shoot, and edit all in 48 hours, and some of other film competitions like that. Other creative projects with music videos and independent projects. So I love to do those, but I haven't quite found a way to have a creative outlet be commercially successful or, kind of compensate me monetarily. It's all been passion projects. So if you have any tips or tricks or advice like that, and it's also just time management as far as okay, I'm getting all these calls for work this way, I don't have time to invest in really building a film career, so to speak. I know other people are in that space, kind of like what I do as technicians and day hires and things like that for projects. But the opportunity that I got was more in live broadcasting, mainly in sports. I do some corporate stuff, some entertainment, live broadcasting, some in between, wrestling, pro wrestling, like they say, sports entertainment. Had the opportunity to do a couple AEW shows. Never a WWF show, or WWE as they call it. I still call it WWF. I just cannot not call it WWF. I am a wrestling fan. I have a alter ego called the California Crusher. You can look him up. He's one day going to have his own YouTube channel. I'm probably way overdue for having a YouTube channel for him, but there are some videos of his floating around, and I'm starting a merch store for the California Crusher. But also, if you click on the link below, there is a gadget store that I have online that I have through Shopify. So please check that out. And also, I'm starting a Patreon page. But lo and behold, I've always wanted to be creative. I mean, I even had a dream at one time of being on Saturday Night Live, and who knows, never say never. I might still do that. So my creative stuff hasn't been too fruitful in that regards, just because of lack of consistency, lack of, kind of focus in that area. And then just, again, always going to where the work, the opportunity is with work, which is mainly live sports broadcasting, technician. But I never thought of myself as really good enough to be in front of the camera and pursue that as far as being an actor or on camera host or whatnot. Well, I've dabbled in that here and there. So, that's what this channel is all about too, is kind of being myself and having that personality come out and having that on camera host, or on camera personality, and just, again, the vlog specifically, sharing my personal growth. So I live in the East Bay now. Been living here for, over 20 years, going on 30 years. I moved to the East Bay in about 2002. No, it's been about 30 years. And then Oakland specifically in 2006. So I love the East Bay. I love all parts of the country. I mean, I love doing road trips. I used to road trip out to Ithaca. I did a road trip before I went to Ithaca, what they call now a gap year, but I basically took a year off and did a road trip around the country with my friend, 10,000 miles over 2 months. It was epic. Did a road trip with my family about 4 years ago, and then, like I said, back and forth to Ithaca with a friend of mine from LA. We were the California guys that would go back east, to college. And we traded off, which cars we would drive, whether I would pick him up down in LA or he would come up here and pick me up in the Bay Area. So anyways, that's a little bit about me. Right now I'm I wouldn't say I'm at a crossroads in my career. I mean, I am in a little bit, but I work a lot of nights and weekends because it's live sports events. So I'm trying to transition, and that's another reason for building this channel is to monetize, and I can kind of set my own hours and not be beholden to that because now that my daughter is in first grade, and, when she was a baby, it was a little easier because, I could spend time with her during the weekday and stuff, and she wasn't regimented as much to the school schedule. And now weekends are everything, and that's when she has free time, and that's when I can spend the most time with her. So I just try and currently spend quality time with my family in the mornings and nights on weeknights, and then if I'm not working on the weekends, taking advantage of that. But if I can grow this channel and monetize and not have to work as much over the weekend, then that's another advantage. But other than that, I love what I do. I think it's great, the live TV that I do. It can be stressful at times, and it can be a lot of hard work, especially physically, demanding on the body. And as I get older and approach 50, believe it or not, don't let the long locks fool you. I'm getting old here. The popper stopper is blocking it, but you can kind of see the gray coming here. I'd have to say, though, I am fairly lucky because I know people my age and younger that are pretty much all gray. I don't dye this. You can probably look closely, and if I were to cut my hair, my gray hair would probably be more visible, but it's not right now. And I don't know, should I take this popper stopper off? I'm kind of like distracted. Maybe I should just do this. It doesn't really, there's not too much feedback. If I really pop, there's the pop, or the popper. It's just kind of see the difference. So I just will try and talk normal and not really have an issue with that. So anyways, thanks again for watching. This is episode 1, and just kind of an overview and intro of what I'm doing here on the vlog. Currently it's the beginning of December, second week in December, not beginning. Some people are all already got their Christmas tree and already got their gifts going and all this stuff. I'm kind of like getting that started this week. Anyways, that's kind of where we're at, and we're planning some family activities and hopefully some time to get away over the break as a family. But I'm also, again, we're really at a point, my wife's an artist, and we're really at a point of just like carving our own path, and that's always been what my podcast is about. So please check that out, the Sam Jack Podcast. I'm not a professional, but wait, I am. And then, that kind of tagline kind of says it all about, my journey and where I'm trying to be, and others, kind of modeling after others and also sharing their stories. That's kind of what the podcast is about. But the vlog is kind of a variation of that, only again, stripped down, and then just talking about my personal and professional growth. And, my main thing is to be consistent, be disciplined, and, the creativity, the outgoingness, the kind of like off the cuff stuff, really good at that, but it's the kind of like, detail oriented stuff. I can be detail oriented in a lot of respects, but as far as like I said, consistency, the discipline, I can be consistent in a lot of things too, but like kind of the daily consistency, keeping up with certain tasks, staying with a fitness regimen, I like to run, but I'm not like, I run every day or I run 3 times a week. I run when I can, when I have time, when I make time. So, time management is a big thing, and some of us figure it out in our 20s, some of us figure it out in our 30s, and some of us struggle with it all of our lives. I'm sure there's some ADHD and definitely some dyslexia in there, as they would say these days, neurodivergent. I don't take any medication for that other than self-medicating with pot and alcohol. I used to be a cigarette smoker, and now I vape, so I kind of struggle with those kind of things, even though I don't think I do anything too habitually. What do the young kids say now? Microdosing, certain things. But anyways, I digress. But that's, again, goes back to fitness and health, because I want to be completely open and transparent in this vlog. So those are just kind of my thoughts. I'm rambling kind of at the end because I'm done with my notes, but I think there should be some rambling and some kind of freestyling in this vlog. That's basically it. So, to wrap up, again, the vlog is about my personal and professional growth, stories and experiences that I have, either from the professional field or personal stories that I can hopefully as advice, or just kind of stories that maybe you can relate to in your journey, in both, if you want to grow with me, if you want to if you're on a personal or professional growth trajectory, and want to kind of see how other people do it, development, getting the channel better, getting Viral Media Network more of a sustainable business, and not relying so much on working. It's a great opportunity to be able to work ESPN, NBC, what are the other ones? CBS Sports, Fox Sports, all these big companies, and countless others, local broadcasts and things like this. But there's something very empowering about being able to do that on your own, in your own productions, regardless of how big or small they are. So, and then also, I think there's this kind of duality in me that's really into technology, but also really into kind of old school kind of analog stuff, or just kind of more mechanical or functional things. So I want to share with you kind of the blend that I have with that, and kind of some old school things, take notes, just pad and paper. I know there's note apps in your phone, in your tablet, on your computer, whatever, but sometimes just having a notebook around in your back pocket, in your bag. I have multiple. It's kind of like my reading glasses. I have multiple pairs, so it's just handy, maybe one in your car, that kind of thing. So I'm going to get back into the habit, because I used to carry a notebook around more often, and just having that so I can keep notes, and, just keeping a track of that. And it's not quite a journal. I've never really kept a journal, but this is basically, my video journal, my digital journal. And maybe one day I'll have more of a, written journal or analytical journal or whatnot. So again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment. Tell me how you like this. Am I just kind of rambling? Do my thoughts make sense? Oh, see, there's where the popper stopper should have. Do my thoughts make sense? See, there's a better take, right? Anyways, thanks again so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. This is the first episode of the VMN Videos vlog. Sam Jack talks back. We'll see you next time. Peace.